watching CASSIUS IFL TV, MTK Global. We're in a slightly warmer place than down there. People don't realise. Now my missus, when I left, I packed today. She went, "You taking a coat?" I went, "Yeah," because it could rain. She went, "You're mad, leave the coat here." Now it's a silly one.
Mate, I'm the exact same. I kind of thought, I'm going to take my hoodie. And I thought, no, I look stupid walking into arena with your hoodie. Wish I brought it. Freezing.
Everyone wishes they brought something.
Freezing, yeah.
It is freezing. Yeah, sort of 3/4 of the way through the night. There's a little break, so I thought I'd catch up with Dave. Yeah, it's very painful to watch Natasha Jonas's fight there.
Mate, it was horrible.
It was really horrible.
It was horrible. I didn't like the ending at all. I mean, obviously she was hurt previous to that. Showed plenty of heart, plenty of guts to carry on. But then that ending was just brutal. It was awful. It was horrible to watch. It really was.
And we saw obviously Joe throw the towel in because obviously he's got the fighter's best interest at heart, obviously. But yeah, it wasn't a nice thing to watch, and somewhat of a surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. We thought it'd be actually quite a tough fight because remember she put up a good fight with Katie Taylor for a while. So I thought, yeah, a few of us were talking about it, and we did think that it would be a tough fight, but we didn't think it was going to be like that. Not at all. Just, I don't know. It just didn't. Tasha didn't seem to be reacting to defensively to the shots that were coming her way.
Is that right hand that repeatedly kept coming her way? Yeah.
You know, listen, everybody has off nights, and she had an off night tonight, and the other girl was on fire, and she was relentless, and once she realised that she'd hurt Tasha, then she never gave up with that.
How are you?
I'm good, yeah, I'm really good, thanks.
Yeah?
It's been
good win for Jordan tonight?
Yeah, happy with him. It's all about, taking into the ring on fight night what we work on in the gym, and in the short amount of time that the fight lasted, he showed what he's been working on. He showed what he can do, and it's more about his state of mind and expressing himself that's key at this stage and in his development, and he's getting it. He's been having some fantastic sparring, going back from sparring with Ryan Burnett to then sparring with with Mickey Conlons and Tommy Wards, Jamie, Gav, McDonald's. He's been getting some really good sparring. Out in Japan, if he sparred with the guy that fought Daniel Roman for the world title out there. So it's all about education for him, and he reminded me today. It marks it's a year anniversary, so to speak, of him being at the COLDWELL gym. Yeah, that's what he brought up. Yeah. And it's been a really good year. I remember from mentally where he was when he came to where he is now. He's had a really good year. 5 fights and exposure on Sky Sports, working with Matchroom, and now, he's got his opportunity. He's fighting for a Commonwealth title next in a big fight, in a big domestic fight. It's a really good fight, and it's a fight that people are going to be looking forward to.
What date is that?
October 27th.
Newcastle?
No, I believe that's London.
London. I think the Newcastle one's after that, isn't it? Is it after?
No, I think that's before.
Before?
I think.
So many dates coming up.
I know, so many.
Yeah. Tony. It's funny, isn't it? It's like he hasn't fought for like a couple of months, but his name's never sort of out of people's mouths for very long. Yeah. Obviously I spoke to Eddie Hearn earlier, and you'll be aware of the situation that this is looking very likely to happen in sometime in November, possibly.
Yeah, I think it'll be November. Yeah, and it's it's the fight that Tony wants, most important out of everything. It's a fight that he wants. It's just that Usyk's in his last performance, he's kind of like, I think he's broke out from your hardcore boxing fans, and he's broke out of that barrier, and he smashed his way into your average Joe on the street you know, people are coming up to me that don't talk about boxing, come up to me asking me about whether my man's fighting Usyk, and yeah, so it's a fight that Tony wants. He's excited by it, and that's the most important thing, is that he's one of these guys that you know, when his back's against the wall and everybody's, you know, betting against him.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Do you remember Nigel Benn was like that? You know, remember when Ben fought McClellan, and he was, you know, his motivation and his the way that he was approaching that fight was, look, everything's, I'm getting smashed here, and Bellew thrives on things like that. It's you know, it's very similar in that respect.
I will say when when that many people are kind of insistent on a result going a certain way, it's usually is the case. It isn't it? But you get one in every.
That's why boxing's so great.
But
that is why boxing's so great. That's why we watch it, because if you knew who was going to win all the time, it's shit. You know, who cares that? Who cares about that?
But what I was going to say was, there's like 1 in every 10 of those, you know, 9 times will be right, that you get a Tony Bellew. So, I mean, I didn't come across anyone outside your team that gave him a prayer in that first fight with David Haye. I didn't speak to not one person.
The abuse that we both got, because people were saying about how easy it was going to be. People don't just pass opinions and stuff. People like to be abusive about it. And the abuse that we both got, because they were so adamant that Haye was going to win the fight. And people had, even since, you know, people like to say, oh yeah, but it wasn't the real David Haye, it wasn't the, you know, David Haye 10 years ago. We said that before the fight. You know, we never said, you know, you can look at press conference, interviews and everything like that. We never once said that it was, you know, the old David Haye at cruiserweight, the old David Haye when he was doing fantastic. But yet people dismissed what we were saying about that, because they were just so adamant that it was going to be one-sided. And you know,
and like the round predictions were like 1 or 2 rounds. You're not talking even. No one was really even talking about the fight going into sort of the mid to late rounds. They were all adamant. Everyone I spoke to was like, this will be going 2 rounds. As soon as basically as soon as David Haye connects, the fight's over. Even in the rematch, it was like, I'm not saying, obviously Tony probably had a bit more of a split opinion about who would win that fight.
It was still massive.
But it was still a lot of people thinking, if David Haye is injury free, then it's a totally different story. So, do you back against Tony Bellew in a fight that no one?
I would never back against Tony Bellew in any fight, because it's just that pig-headed and stubborn enough that it might beat him. For me, it's the toughest fight out there, without a doubt. It's the toughest fight out there for him, but it's the one that gives him the biggest challenge, the biggest motivation, really. And Usyk is very, very good, but he's beatable. He gets hit. He does get hit. If ever there's a style that that Usyk would pick to flatter his style and his ability, it's CASSIUS.
Yeah.
You know, so let's just remember that. Just put that in context. You know, Usyk's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but CASSIUS made him look like Superman. It made him look unbeatable. You know, and that is not.
What have you made of all this Tyson Fury situation? Obviously,
Which situation?
Well, just, you know, obviously this week, obviously his name's been linked with Tony for quite some time, but obviously now the talk is gathering a lot of momentum. I mean, Eddie Hearn's...
Is it? I thought it was done.
I don't know about being done. I mean, I don't know if anything's happened significantly tonight. But according to Frank Warren and Tyson, that this is like, he beats Pianetta, and then this will be his next fight. The only person, obviously, from the boxing world is dismissive of it to a certain degree is Mr. Eddie Hearn.
But that's just Eddie's character, I suppose. You know, it's an entirely different negotiating terms and state for a fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury to a fight between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, because you're talking about where those fighters are in the standing. You know, Joshua's a unified champion. Tyson Fury's not. Joshua sells out Wembley Stadium and Millennium Stadiums, and you know, he generates that kind of income. So, whereas Tyson Fury is not. So, negotiating wise, I would imagine that a fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury would be easier to make, because Tyson will fight anybody. He's scared of no man, and he'll fight anybody. So if he's saying, "I'll fight you, Deontay Wilder," and people get around the table and talk about it, then that fight, I think, would happen pretty quickly, because they can't. You know, he went and fought Klitschko in Klitschko's back garden. It wasn't bothered, you know, and I'm sure he didn't get paid absolute mammoth amount for that challenge. So I don't think the motivation is in, you know, well, I want that amount of money and that's it. I think the motivation's in because he wants to go out there and he wants to shock the world again. So I think obviously it's easier to make a fight like that than when you're talking about a guy that commands viewing figures and finances that Anthony Joshua does. So it's two different things. So people that are saying, oh, well, Fury took it like that and Warren made it like that. I mean, yeah, because it's different terms. But as for the fight itself, I think fantastic. If Tyson's got that, brilliant. You know, if it's not happening for AJ, why not? Because imagine Fury beats Wilder. If that fight got made, then between Fury and AJ, for us, it's just
I mean, if Fury
phenomenal.
wins that, it makes Fury Joshua even bigger, as big as it could probably ever get.
Yeah.
And if Wilder beats Fury, then that makes that fight.
Yeah, it's a win-win. At the end of the day, if they're not going to make, if they don't think the timing's right for the fight with AJ and Wilder to happen now, and they're waiting for it to the pot to stew a little bit more, that is the fight, because it's a no-lose situation. Because you know, you won't want, say for instance, if Wilder were to fight, I don't know, Big maybe Miller or something like that, and then he beats Wilder, well, that blows it big time, because Miller and AJ is not going to be ever be as big as AJ and Wilder or Tyson Fury and AJ. So that's a good situation as far as fans are concerned, really.
You know, when like Tony's Bellew has said in the past, kind of who he wouldn't fight.
Yeah.
And the reason given is because they're too big.
Yeah.
So, but Tyson Fury.
Difference is, Wilder is massive, huge, giant, that punches like a motherfucker.
So it comes down to punching power as opposed to size.
No, it's the size, because you've got that size and the leverage with it as well for the shots. That's a little bit, that's giving away a bit too much shit. And same as AJ. That's just, you know, they're just big men that can really punch hard as well. You got a guy that so let me look at this. Nikolai Valuev was 7'2". David A fought Nikolai Valuev, right? But he was 7'2" and slow as a sloth, right? So if Nikolai Valuev was 7'2" and athletic and fast, would they have gone that route for him to fight? No, he wouldn't. So you have to look at things in a certain way. It's not just about the size sometimes.
I think
it's about what we've got.
It's always about the size, David.
Only a big man would say that.
No, I think we don't normally hear those fighters talk like that, really, and say. Well, I don't really hear any fighter apart from Tony. I mean, he's just being honest and just kind of saying what the situation is according to him. So, but we don't really hear fighters saying that. It's usually a case of, even if the likely chance of the fight wouldn't happen, it would always be a case of, you know, I'd fight anyone. You know, I'd fight whoever. Blah blah. So when you're talking about jumping from a heavyweight, from cruiserweight to heavyweight, you're talking about a big jump. You're not talking about jumping from welterweight to light middleweight or to middleweight. You're talking about a huge jump, and so you've got to have, especially when you're coming towards the end of your career as well. You know, as you get older, you get a bit more wiser, and you get a little bit more realistic, and you start thinking about things. You know, and you kind of think to yourself, or people around you advise you as well, on just be that little bit smarter. You know, and
all fighters have done in the past. You know, look at the fights that Ray Leonard had and how he picked the right fights at the right time. Doesn't diminish your achievements. You know, it's what you do.
People would say that Mayweather picked his fighters at the right time.
Did. But that's you know, and it's like when you have a good management team around you when you're a kid coming through, you could have you get to a title and then you're ready to win the title, or you could have been with somebody that's put you in a title shot too early and you've got beat because of inexperience rather than because the champion at the time was better than you.
I think the main event is about to start. Caldina and Sean Dodd, which is an interesting fight for both. So, do you want to go and watch it?
Yes.
Just a quick word on Big Gav.
Excited. Do you know what? I'm so happy for him. If ever there's a kid that just deserves to get this opportunity, and please God takes the opportunity, Gavin McDonald puts everything into boxing. You know, he's a lovely kid. He's been an absolute pleasure to work with, and he does everything that you ask him to. He works so hard in the gym. He's always been in his brother's shadow, and here's his opportunity now to go out to America and win a world title. And I tell you, it's a winnable fight. For me, it's a 50-50 fight. If you look at both guys, neither of them do anything exceptional, but they do everything really well. What their good points, they do everything really well. Roman's not a huge puncher, but he's got a good engine. He gets. What'll be interesting is because both fighters have got good engines. I feel that that Gav's got the tools that it can really do a job on him. As long as he gets it together and the emotions of the night don't grab hold of him, then I really do think that we're going to get a new world champion, and that'll just be phenomenal. That will.
What is Sims doing behind me? What are you doing?
How you doing, right?
So you know they call him the magician, right?
Yeah.
Why?
I'll go on.
I'm about to see into the future. Hold on, be still.
Killed you.
I was waiting for some magic.
We thought you left your robe here. We were going to take that home.
So y'all gonna get fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
No, he wasn't really. He just wanted to talk.
Oh, look at that!
Oh,
Look at that!
fuck. It's okay.
That's so cool now. I am.
All right, you're not in Compton now. You're in Wales. All right. I'm gonna listen. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cut that out for your benefit. Please believe me. People won't know what you said. They'll just hear this, but I'm gonna cut that out.
Look, they're gonna love,
Oh yeah, you are.
Yeah.
they're gonna love me because I say the unspoken. The shit motherfuckers won't say, I'm gonna say it.
Wow. Right, David. Dave, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. I'll have to consider whether that gets left in or not, even though you said it again.
He's a funny guy.
We'll catch up with you soon. Let's go and watch some more
Yes.
fight.
See you later.
Yeah.